Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Well, that's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown. 2A views, conservative news, and I don't know, something going wrong with my shirt today, Craig. All weird here.
Oh, well, that's because it's hump day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day. It's hump day.
That's right, folks. Today is hump day. It is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as we like to say, the fun is always in the trying.
Yep. Give it a shot today. Gonna do our best.
It is always fun. We always have a good time on hump day. Today is the first kind of, here in, at least in Sacramento, it's the first rainy day of sunshine is kind of over for a little while here. At least warmth and sunshine is over for a little while here in Northern California.
Kind of chilly here today. It's about 60, so we're hitting our stride in winter.
60 degrees is winter. I have nothing. I got nothing.
It's shorts and parka weather here.
Wow, shorts and parka.
Yep.
Got to keep the upper body warm, legs, extremities, because you're generally using them always warm anyway.
Yep, absolutely right.
Good stuff. All right, so how is your hump day going thus far? Have you been successful in attempting to begin the weekend?
You know, not too bad. A lot of people want to get some work done, evidently on Wednesdays. I don't know why, but other than that, the imbibedness has been working well, so we're good.
For me, it's been quite phenomenal. It's been a very productive day, although I have yet to begin the weekend. So it is what it is. I've gotten used to it. It's kind of what happens when you're running for Congress and you own a business and you have a family. It's just, there really is no such thing as a weekend vacation or something like that.
Never easy being an independent masseuse, that's for sure.
Actually, that would probably be a little easier than what I do. But in any case. All right, Mike, before we get into the program, why don't you do us a favor and give a quick shout out to our sponsors?
Absolutely. Let's say hi to our good friends over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. Hitmanindustries.net. If you got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, probably got one of their barrels and don't even know it. Well, now you can buy from them factory direct for your next AR build. Whether you got a pistol or a rifle, they can take care of you at hitmanindustries.net. California Rifle and Pistol Association. Now you can take part in California's future today. Make sure you check out the California 6th congressional race while you're there checking them out. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, visit our friends over at Hog Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com. That's hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all one word, all no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you're looking for some tactical gear, whether you're going indoors, outdoors, hunting, camping, fishing, no matter what it might be, you can get everything but the gun at uscombatgear.com.
All right, Mike, we're going to have to send the California Rifle and Pistol Association we're going to have to send them an invoice for that free advertising that you gave to them. You saw California and you automatically thought California Rifle and Pistol Association, because they are doing some really good and big things here for gun rights here in California. But our sponsor is the California Republican Assembly, which fights for all rights, all conservative values, including the Second Amendment, but also limited government, the right to life, traditional families, yada, yada, yada. You name it. If it's conservative, they support it. So check them out, cragop.org.
Didn't even know I did that. Yep. My apologies. Didn't even know I did it. I've just got so much rifle and pistol on the brain that's where my brain went today.
And that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing to have on the brain at all.
Yep, exactly.
And Lord knows all sorts of craziness is going on here in the state of California. And you know what? Let's jump right into it, because this first story was one I was actually surprised that California was not represented at this meeting of the minds there in Washington, D.C., where some university presidents were called before Congress, and they were called before Congress to address the issue of, well, the fact that you have so many college students on college campuses who are calling for the genocide of the Jewish people, the end of the Jewish state. These are folks who, if you know and you understand what is going on, if you know and you understand, if you understand the terminology and the history, things like, from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, is a call to basically kill all Jews and create the Jewish state. When you call for an intifada, once again, that's about killing all Jews and creating the Jewish state. And so you had before Congress these folks, and I want to have, this was Congresswoman Stefanik who was questioning these professors, these university presidents. And I wanted to give you all an opportunity to kind of hear what they had to say about what they were saying about whether or not calling for the genocide of a group of people, in this case the Jews, constituted a violation of their harassment policy.
At MIT, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate MIT's code of conduct or rules regarding bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
If targeted at individuals, not making public statements.
Yes or no? Calling for the genocide of Jews does not constitute bullying and harassment?
I have not heard calling for the genocide for Jews on our campus.
But you've heard chants for intifada.
I've heard chants, which can be anti-Semitic depending on the context, when calling for the elimination of the Jewish people.
So those would not be according to the MIT's code of conduct or rules?
That would be investigated as harassment if pervasive and severe.
Ms. McGill, at Penn, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's rules or code of conduct? Yes or no?
If the speech turns into conduct, it can be harassment, yes.
I am asking specifically calling for the genocide of Jews. Does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
So the answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today. Calling for the genocide of Jews is depending upon the context. That is not bullying or harassment. This is the easiest question to answer yes, Ms. McGill. So is your testimony that you will not answer yes?
If it if the
yes
speech
or
becomes
no?
if the speech becomes conduct, it can be harassment, yes.
Conduct meaning committing the act of genocide? The speech is not harassment? This is unacceptable, Ms. McGill. I'm going to give you one more opportunity for the world to see your answer. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be harassment.
I don't understand how difficult it was to just simply say, yeah, calling for the genocide of Jews is harassment or is bad and should be punished.
She's a piece of ass, Craig. She's a turd. She's a piece of garbage. She's crap. That woman is ridiculous and should immediately be fired from her job and barred from ever again having a job in education. What I mean, look at her. Look at her trying to dodge the question. If we'd asked this question about BLM or Antifa 6 months ago, she'd have been all over it, right? But now all of a sudden, it involves Jerusalem, Judaism and Israel. We have no comment.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you asked that question because we got another video clip. Check it out.
Ms. Stefanik, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Dr. Gay, a Harvard student calling for the mass murder of African Americans is not protected free speech at Harvard, correct?
Our commitment to
It's a
free
yes or no
speech-
question. Is that corrected? Is that okay for students to call for the mass murder of African Americans at Harvard? Is that protected free speech?
Our commitment to free speech.
It's a yes or no
extends-
question. Let me ask you this. You are president of Harvard, so I assume you're familiar with the term intifada, correct?
I've heard that term, yes.
And you understand that the use of the term intifada in the context of the Israeli-Arab conflict is indeed a call for violent armed resistance against the state of Israel, including violence against civilians and the genocide of Jews. Are you aware of that?
That type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent to me.
And there have been multiple marches at Harvard.
Okay, so notice once again, she didn't answer the question because it was real obvious. I mean, and that was from Harvard. So basically, there was NYU, there was Penn State, and there was Harvard, and they all had a chance to say, yeah, no, that is, especially when you are chasing down and you have instances of individuals running down and following and harassing Jewish students, saying, calling for intifada, saying from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free. I'm just wondering, how is that? How are these students not being removed?
Listen, not to mention, right? You had a professor killed in California. Let's not even go there, but it's clearly, a hypocrisy at its finest. And that's what the Democratic Party is. That's what they stand for. They stand for what they believe at the moment, and they're going to tell you is the truth. And then when you try to turn the tables on them to give the examples, all of a sudden, a proud African American Black woman won't even tell you that it's harassment to threaten Black people.
Well, and that goes right back to the whole point is that these people are committed Marxists, neo-Marxists first, before anything else. Because keep in mind, these are also the same women who can't tell you what a woman is, right? Yep. They're all for women's rights, right? Until, it comes for standing for women's rights, until they're the lower ones on the intersectional hierarchy of needs.
That's it. That's exactly right.
The worst part is that the people who watch this show probably get this because we show them this stuff all the time. You would be amazed how many people out there either on the left or people who just don't follow politics don't know that this is not, that this is happening. They don't realize that this sort of stuff is going on.
Yeah, they should listen. And Representative Stefanik was making a great job of it, doing a great job of it. They should take these individuals and make them examples and put these videos everywhere.
Oh yeah. Once again, and I wanted to make sure that I clarify, because some people, I wanted to make sure that in particular I got the section in about talking about the Intifada, because a lot of people don't know what we're talking about. They don't, well, maybe they didn't know what an Intifada is. I'm sorry, if you are a university president and you don't know what an Intifada is, you should not be a university president. Especially not one of the...
She's heard the term before. You heard what she said. I've heard the term before.
Right. I've heard the term before, but you just called it hateful. You just called it, what'd she call it, wretched and hateful or something like that? Abhorrent is what she called it?
It's like asking her, ma'am, do you know what lynching is? Oh, I've heard the term before.
Right. Well, like I said, if you had people who were marching across campuses, on college campuses, talking about, well, you know what? We need to kill all black people or send all black people back to Africa. You know what they would do? They would be shut down and they would be sent home. If they said anything like that about people who were transgendered or people who were gay, once again, they would pack them up. I'm sorry, you're out of this university. And by the way, these are also the same people who refuse to acknowledge what Hamas did, the fact that they used rape as a tool and then televised or promoted it. They're the same people that refuse to actually stand up for women when it comes to that. I don't know. It's just, the whole thing just kind of works on my last nerve. But I'm hoping that people are starting to see the hypocrisy and starting to recognize it for what it is and call it out.
Oh, I think they do, Craig. I mean, this is what we see in the polls now. This is why Joe Biden is one of the reasons why he's continuing to slide and his party continues to slide.
Right. They are continuing to slide because they don't understand. The elites have absolutely no idea how far out of touch they are with the average person. How weird is it that the Republican Party is the party of the people, right? Because corporations are siding with the Democratic Party. Unions are siding with the Democratic Party. Academia, mainstream media, entertainment are all siding with the people who are racist, the people who are anti-woman, with the people who are anti-children, the people who want to basically sacrifice our children on the altar of sexual depravity. Those are the Democrats.
Well, all the groups and the corporations and the government people you just mentioned, they all want the money and control for themselves, Craig, and they don't care who they lie to about it.
They do not care one bit. Matter of fact, speaking of supporting women, it is amazing. It is once again interesting how many people on the left refuse to acknowledge the fact that we had this big fight over quote unquote Title IX in order to help women get involved and have an opportunity to participate in high school and college sports. Well, or in sports, period. Well, now you've got this case where once again you have transgender women, or basically men, who have now competed in women's events and actually turned around and they actually won. Check out the story here real quick.
Believing in biology is not bigoted, and following the science that there are only two sexes and that there are very real and important differences between the two sexes is not hateful, it's fact.
So that was just yesterday on the Hill. Riley Gaines taking her fight for fairness at the Capitol Hill and members of Congress. She's an all-American swimmer delivering that emotional statement on competing against trans athletes. She's led the way as the Biden administration seeks to outlaw transgender sports bans. Evie Edwards is a pro cyclist. She's competed against a trans athlete, and she's live in Asheville, North Carolina. How you doing, Evie? Nice to see you today. You're a mother, right? You've got kids in the game here, too. And you're in a state
Hi, Bill. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're a state where the governor has defied the Republican legislature trying to ban this. What was your experience in your competition with a trans athlete?
Well, I've been competing against trans-identified athletes since pretty much 2017. So it's been a really long fight, and I appreciate now the fact that we have a platform to speak out, especially as a registered Democrat, liberal woman. I'm not the only one. There's many of us, most women, I would say, believe in single-sex fairness for women in sport. This isn't something that just affects elite women, professional women. It affects women and girls at all ages of sport. We won't be allowed to, women won't be allowed to become elite or professional athletes if when they're adolescents, they're unable to have fair competition. And equally so, the average female shouldn't expect to show up in an event and not have a.
All right. So I apologize. I thought she was going to get a little bit more into the story. But here, and this is over at the New York Post, they point out two transgender cyclists once again have staggered first and second place at a major women's competition, with some calling their victories outrageous and an assault on the rights of biological female riders. Tessa Johnson, 25, took first place in the women's single speed category at the Illinois State Cyclocross Championships on Sunday, while Evelyn Williamson, 30, placed second. The two, who previously sparked outrage when they took the same positions in the Chicago Cyclocross Cup in October, were pictured on the podium with Kristen Chambers, the sole biological female to medal. Johnson also came in third in the women's half race, winning a $100 prize money, records show. So in other words, these are, by the way, professional athletes. So these are, once again, people who went through puberty as males competing against women with a clear biological advantage. They're placing first and second. They're not just winning competitions awards that women should win. They're taking money that women should be getting.
Right, and of course it's in Illinois, right? It's not in a nice, Republican state. This is in one of the most liberal cities run by a liberal state run by a liberal city. That you see these just absolute ridiculous going on.
It's all on my end, so I apologize. But go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, listen. Like I said, of course, this is from one of the most liberal states run by a liberal city, and that you see these two people that profess to be a woman now taking advantage of the system. Now winning money. I said, Craig, the only time that this might be of any value at all is if we had them riding a bicycle built for two and competing together. At least we'd get some humor value out of it.
Wow. This is all I know is this is ridiculous. If you cannot recognize this specific physical advantage that these writers have who were born male, that they have because they were born male, because they went through puberty as males. If you cannot recognize that, then you are just denying reality. And that's really, quite frankly, what it comes down to. We're denying reality.
Craig, what we all know the saying, right? Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. And I'll even go out on a limb, Craig, and I'll say, if you had a penis, you were a boy.
You were just a penisless boy. But once again, I heard someone say this, and I agree with them. It's like, look, you can call yourself what you want, but your right to live your life the way you want to live your life ends where it requires me to change how I live my life. When you when you tell me I have to now deny basic understanding of basic biology and science, you're telling me I now have to deny science. You tell me I now have to deny my religious beliefs and my religious faith, that you now want to indoctrinate my children to believe the same? Nah, sorry.
It's like any law, Craig. Your rights end where they infringe upon mine.
Right.
It should be the same here. Their right to be a woman should end where it infringes upon my rights to be a woman in a fair race against other women.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, moving right along. Where are we at here? Oh, California carry case could have national repercussions. And once again, and I'll continue to say this, the only good thing about California being as wacky and crazy as it is because the nuts come up with all sorts of stuff here in California. They turn it into law, and then it gives us something to actually sue about. And, that's where we're at right now. This is according to Bearing Arms. It says we've already covered the initial filing in the California Rifle and Pistol Association v. Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, as well as taking a look at how California Attorney General Rob Bonta might try to defend the state's ban on non-residents bearing arms once they cross the state line. But on today's Bearing Arms, we are doing a deeper dive into the litigation with CRPA President Chuck Michel, who is the lead attorney on the case. There have already been some developments since the lawsuit was docketed on Monday. Let's see, they assigned a Biden judge, who's brand new to the bench. The main point of this lawsuit that they're pointing to here has to do with the government declaring that they just don't have enough time or resources to be able to, in a timely manner, in a cost-efficient manner, issue concealed carry permits to residents. In other words, the law is the law, and they now are like, well, we can't implement the law, so we're not going to do it. And that's what Los Angeles County is saying.
Yeah, again, more excuses from these counties, and we see this in other states as well, right? Where we know what the law is, but and maybe they even acquiesce to saying, oh, okay, we get what the standard is, but we can't do it. We can't afford it. We don't have the resources. We can't do it in time. So sorry.
Well, what's funny is, Mike, is that there are counties in California that have been doing that have been issuing permits within a reasonable amount of time, and they've been doing it for a while, for years, and they've seemed to be able to do it for a reasonable fee amount. Well, now you have people who want to charge, like Los Angeles County, they want to charge like $1,000 for a concealed carry permit, and you have to pay that every 2 years.
Well, and you know why? One, it's punitive, right? We know that to be a fact, that they're trying to, price your rights out of your possibility there. But listen, I can hear their complaint, Craig. Like, well, we can't afford it. We can't. You see, we spend all our money now taking care of homeless camps and immigrants. That's where all our money goes. We don't have any money left over to do something like this. So, federal government, if you want to give us money, we could, maybe try.
And that's pretty much where they're at. They're not really interested in trying. They're interested in trying to find a way. They're interested in trying to subvert the process, is what they're interested in quote unquote trying to do.
Yeah.
And I'm real interested to see where this judge is going to come down, because, and I think that Chuck Michel in the interview, he made actually a very good point. He says, look, regardless of where you stand on the Second Amendment, regardless of your political leanings, the fact is that their violations of just administrative law and their responsibilities as a government agencies are so glaringly abhorrent, are so glaringly obvious. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to get away with, or for a judge to rationally come up with any sort of a legal argument as to why Los Angeles County should not be found guilty or liable, or I guess it's a civil case, so should not be found liable in these cases. But this is an Obama judge. It is the Ninth Circuit. So what does the law have to do with it anyway?
Right. Yeah, they'll find a reason to get, for the anti-gunners to get their way on this, and it'll have to work its way through the courts, just like you said.
Yes, they will. And then finally, more COVID news. This is a fun one. Biden paid $86 million for fake COVID masks. Okay, maybe that's not exactly what happened, but it was easier for me to write that in the title, so that's what I put. But let me read the story here for you. This is from our friends over at the Washington Free Beacon. It says Biden administration gave $86 million to company accused of peddling fake COVID tests. The Biden administration gave $86 million to a company accused of peddling counterfeit COVID test kits manufactured in China, according to records obtained by the Washington Free Beacon. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announced funding for CoreDx, a COVID test kit manufacturer, in September. The deal will finance free testing products to American households and is intended to bolster U.S. manufacturing. But records obtained by the Free Beacon raise questions about CoreDx's testing kits and its domestic manufacturing capabilities. One of the company's competitors claimed CoreDx sold knockoff kits stamped with a false brand name in violation of the Food and Drug Administration regulations, and that CoreDx's was producing the tests in China. Now, we always knew that our good friend Mr. Biden loved the folks over in China. So, with all the money that they've given him, why wouldn't he give them $86 million worth of $86 million for some fake tests?
Folks, is it not apparent first off that the whole the COVID hoax issue? Not that there wasn't a disease out there, there wasn't a virus out there, but everything related to it, the reporting of it, the statistics of it, the treatment of it, the vaccinations, are you getting the picture now? It's just, this is what goes on constantly. You see where your money goes to all the little things that they want to go for him paying off his debts to China, his paying off his debts to the Ukraine, Iran, wherever it happens to go. I mean, it's just pitiful. Craig, listen, if they had come to me, I could have I could have cut him a deal probably at, like closer to 80 million, saved him a whole bunch of money on this too. So
Exactly.
I got my fake COVID test for papers for zero. I mean, I could have saved him a ton of money.
Well, that just reminds me, to Joe Biden, to the rest of the left, to the corporations who've all decided that, well, you know what? The truth really doesn't matter to you and you just want to pay off your friends.
Go f*** yourself.
There you go.
But go f*** yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
And, ironically, I did not know that Elon Musk and Bob Newhart were such close friends that he refers to him like that. So.
Actually, that's not Bob Newhart he is referring to. That would be Bob Iger he is referring to.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sorry. All right. That was him and Newhart were palling around, I thought.
Yeah, I'm constantly looking for little things like that we can add as regular additions to the program. Apologize if the foul language messes with or bothers some of y'all, but it was funny. Sorry. All right, folks. Well, hey, that brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholster.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. Now, cars have gotten kind of expensive. I don't know why. I don't know how. Probably inflation. Probably, the computer chips and all that. It's really gotten expensive to be able to purchase a vehicle these days. But there is no more expensive vehicle to drive than one of these.
Oh, very true. Very true. And Craig, there's no inflation. Haven't you been watching the news?
Oh, no. Thanks to Bidenomics, there is absolutely no inflation.
That's right.
But just so you know, I just wanted you to know, the other weekday we were talking about another expensive car. And we were talking about the Cybertruck. And I was trying to explain to you that it looked like a dustbuster. Well, there you go. That's what the Cybertruck looks like.
There you go. I did send you one other pic while we were on the air here, Craig, if you want to, because we were.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do,
Israel
because
stuff.
I got a video that I'm going to play. You're going to love this, and I will.
Yeah.
I'll load that picture while we are while we're enjoying this video. Check it out.
Perfect.
Current human tree hybrid, John Kerry, is the subject of tonight's investigation. You remember John? He started his career on Easter Island.
Damn.
Old John was speaking at a recent climate conference in Dubai where he apparently farted during his talk. How ironic, a rabid environmentalist who can't control his own carbon fart print. At first, attendees assumed it was merely a sound glitch, but became suspicious when the plants in the room suddenly wilted. But let us not pass judgment until it's proven he passed gas. I present Exhibit A for ass.
I find myself getting more and more militant because I do not understand how adults who are in position of responsibility can be avoiding responsibility for taking away those things that are killing people on a daily basis. And the reality is that...
Now I know why he flies private. Passengers and coach would keep trying to open the emergency exit. He should have at least had the courtesy to ask someone to pull his finger. Now, the woman sitting next to him is CNN's Becky Anderson. You wouldn't recognize her because nobody watches. But watch her expression again and tell me that's not the face you make when you've been farted on by an 80-year-old man. Roll it.
Avoiding responsibility for taking away those things that are killing people on a daily basis. And the reality is that...
Kudos to Anderson for keeping a straight face after Kerry put her on blast.
That's funny. Look, the look on the other guy's face, you could see it too. He was like, I smell curry.
I smell curry. All right, folks. So that brings us to our last one. Mike, I'll let you go ahead and read this one.
Billions of people around the globe are about to celebrate the birthday of a Jewish man born in Bethlehem.
Some folks will not understand that. It's like, okay, so you're going to celebrate the birth of Christ, who was Jewish, over 2,000 years ago and in a place that you said, well, no, Jews didn't live there before 1948. Little too much logic there, Mike.
Yep.
Little too much logic there. All right, well, hey, we're about time to wrap it up. But before we do, let's give that shout out to our sponsors.
HitmanIndustries.net. That's HitmanIndustries.net. You can get AR, pistol, and rifle barrels in any caliber you like, any length you desire for your next AR or rifle or pistol builds. That's HitmanIndustries.net. The California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take California's future today. Make sure you check out the California 6th congressional race while you're there. And then, of course, if you're going all tactical and you need some tactical gear, you can get everything you need for outdoors, indoors, hunting, fishing, camping, whatever it is at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment. Follow the links in the description of this program. Go visit our sponsors. Spend some money with them. Make sure you tell them the guys over at The Rundown sent you. And with that, we are done for the day. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We are going to be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. We're going to have a good time. Whatcha?
Wow.